Now, water for all. We know water is the basic necessity, right? For all forms of life, may it be human beings, may it be other animals, plants, right? And the regions having good co-availability of water, these are flourishing because they have good crops. And the regions which have shortage of water, they show poverty. Crop growth is not proper. And the availability of water is in the form of rain, river, lakes, ponds, right? Wells, oceans, glaciers, and so on. We know rain is very important source because whenever the India is largely dependent due to monsoon which lasts for few months, right? This rainfall it fills the lakes, ponds, everything, and it flows into the water, underground water also is available. Then most of the parts of the country get a good rainfall during monsoon, but loss of vegetation cover, much water does not seep into the ground. So where does it go? It goes into the river. It is stored in the lakes only, right? There are some natural lakes in our country. Some artificial lakes have been made at various places to store the rainwater to meet the increasing demand of water. And despite good rains, we are not able to meet the demand for water of all the people. Why? Because population increase, first of all. The population is increasing rapidly. It's increasing and increasing. And due to lack of sufficient vegetation cover, only a little water it seeps into the ground. So underground storage does not show much resource. Right. High yielding varieties of crops they require much more water for irrigation, and discharge of untreated sewage also reduces the availability of water. Changing lifestyle of people especially in urban areas consuming more water. Ultimately the sources of water are reducing. So generally we say what is basically done to make this proper use of water. We have constructed dams have been constructed in order to make proper use of river water. Dams have been constructed across the river to regulate the flow of water, right? But whenever there are dams, like one example we know, Bhakra Dam, it has built across the river Satluj in the state of Punjab. Dams also, there are uses also, there are some ways also in which it creates problems, right? What are the basic uses? First of all, water is available for irrigation. Quite helpful through a network of canal system. Canals have been made and these canals ensure that water is reaching to the crop fields and help in raising the agriculture production. It is supplied to people in towns and cities, supplied to people in the nearby areas through pipelines. Then flowing water of the dam, it is also used to generate electricity. And the construction of high-rise dam for the management and generation of electricity. There, whenever we are doing all this, a high-rise dam and then generating electricity, obviously we need to clear off large amount of land area. Then it creates problems. What are the problems which have been caused? Problems can be social. Social in the manner when we are constructing same way the high-rise dam. So large number of human settlements. These are submerged in the water of large reservoir which is formed by the dam. Many people are becoming homeless. That is the social problem. They are displaced from the area without giving any adequate compensation by the government. They are still fighting for their rights. Then second is the environmental problem. What is that environmental problem? It contributes to deforestation for sure, loss of biodiversity. You cannot establish a new food chain immediately because a vast variety of flora and fauna gets submerged in the water. then how can it create an ecological balance? It creates ecological imbalance, right? And then we say economic problem. Construction involves the spending of huge amount of public money without generating the proportionate benefits. Generally, what has come into notice that they took away the money during this generation of high-rise dams, public money especially, and people were not given the compensation. And opposition is still for the construction of Tehri Dam on River Ganga. And rising, basically for the raising the height of Sardar Sarovar Dam on the river Narmada, it is creating problems. We've all heard about the protest by the Narmada Bachao Andolan against the raising of height of Sardar Sarovar Dam. Generally, it is all creating problems, social problem, environmental problem, economic problems, and pollution too. Most of the rivers in our country, they are highly polluted. Pollution of river water is caused by the dumping of the untreated sewage and the we can say industrial waste into it. One example that has come forward is in the river Ganga, right? We know that river Ganga, which flows over 2500 kilometers from Gangotri in the Himalayas to Ganga Sagar in the Bay of Bengal, it's being turned into a dirty water drain now, right, by the discharge of untreated water. And industrial waste. More than 100 towns and cities which lie along its way keep on adding the untreated waste and the industrial waste. It is otherwise also being used by humans for their activities like bathing, washing of clothes, immersion of that is ashes and dead ones, and dumping of unburnt in the water. So industries also discharge chemical effluents. Toxicity is becoming high. And how did we get to know? By the presence of coliform bacteria. This bacteria are mainly found in the human intestine. It can only be excreted out. So, automatically the untreated sewage is dumped into river Ganga, from where we have recovered this coliform bacteria in river water. And the pH of the river water. Number 2, coliform is present in human intestine, and the pH of the river water is measured by using universal indicator paper. By now you know what is pH 7. Okay, and the pH of river water, when it is measured, if the river water is found to be below 7, 7 is the neutral, okay, then it is acidic. It is below 7, it is acidic. So it means it is polluted. So there is a multi-crore Ganga Action Plan. Ganga Action Plan, which was launched in 1985 to clean the river water Ganga and make its water pollution free. Right. Another source of water that we know are the wells and tube wells. Right, wells and tube wells. Whenever the water level decreases, automatically it is also not possible to draw water from here, and scheme called rainwater harvesting is recommended. Now what is rainwater harvesting? Rainwater harvesting is basically the water collection method to capture as much as water possible which had fallen on the land, right? Rainwater harvesting is another technique. Then digging of small pits and lakes, earthen embankments, dikes. Then sand and limestone reservoirs. All these methods of collecting and saving water. Recharge the depleted groundwater. Right. Now we will discuss about what kind of a rainwater harvesting system, Khadan system. It is used in Rajasthan. Here it is Khadan system, a rainwater harvesting system. Okay, there is a catchment area always. What do we call it? Catchment area. It's called Bandh, and it is built across the river edge of the sloping farmland. The rainwater from the catchment area flows down the slopes and stopped by a bandh. That is called Khadan. Okay, it seeps here also. The excess water flows across the bandh through the pathways provided for this purpose and goes into the shallow wells. If it crosses from here, it goes to the shallow dug well, and ultimately the rainwater which collects in the reservoir seeps slowly into the ground. This water saturated land is subsequently used for growing crops, this particular one. Here the crops can be grown. Right, this way the system works. And the main purpose of water harvesting is not to hold rainwater or the surface water, but to make rainwater percolate under the ground so as to recharge the groundwater. This is basically done to recharge the groundwater. Okay. Then is in urban areas, basically in city areas, most of the ground has the open soil due to which rainwater can seep into the ground naturally and can make up for the loss in groundwater due to excessive use. Then we say coal and petroleum. These are also the natural resources which needs to be conserved. When we talk about coal and petroleum as the fossil fuels, they are the natural resources which are quite important. Coal is also used as in homes and industry to generate electricity at the thermal power plant. Petroleum and diesel mainly for the vehicles and for domestic fuel, for cooking, LPG for domestic fuel. But are we using it judicially? The question is, are we using it judicially? No. It is what has come according to the estimate is petroleum reserve of the earth will last just for 40 more years and coal for another 200 years, and once exhausted, this will not be available to us in near future, and it is therefore very necessary to conserve coal and petroleum. We have to manage the way we utilize our natural resources